welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at lesson 2-3, which is on properties. And we're going to look at two specific properties, commutative and associative properties. We're going to learn some more properties than that in the future, but these are two specific properties that you need to be able to identify in pre-algebra and looking at state test coming up. So let's get our iNotebooks out and let's get started. Okay, so this is, if I, no, hang on just a minute. Okay, I think I got the problem fixed. Okay, this is lesson 2-3, and we're going to call it algebra properties. Specifically, we're going to learn about commutative and associative. So these two properties are ones that are used quite a bit. They're kind of, well, duh, it makes sense, but you need to know what they're called and you need to know how they're used. So let's talk about commutative first. First of all, I think of commutative as kind of like community. So in a community, it doesn't matter where you're sitting. So think about a classroom as a community. It doesn't matter where you sit. You still make up the same class. So you're still in the same community, no matter where you sit in the classroom is still the same. The class setup is still, or the class makeup is still the same. So that's kind of what commutative property is. So if we have the commutative property of addition, it means that we can add any numbers that we want, and we can change their order around, and you're going to get the exact same thing. So it's just like changing my seating chart at the 9 weeks. If I have you guys sitting one way, but then I change the seating chart, it's still the same class, and there's still the same kids in the same class. The classes are equal, you just moved positions. So that's what commutative property is. You're the same community, we just put you in the same spots, or put you in different spots, I'm sorry. If we do multiplication, it's the same thing. So if I have 2 times 4 times 6, that's the same thing as 6 times 2 times 4. So again, I can take the numbers and I can flip-flop them around, I can change their seats, and it doesn't change the outcome. The number's still the same. 4 times 6 is 24, times 2 is 48. Well, 6 times 2 is 12, 12 times 4 is still 48. It doesn't change the outcome by moving the numbers around. Now, this does not work with subtraction, and it does not work with division. It only works with addition and multiplication. If we wanted to say this is algebra, we can say A plus B plus C. Remember, these are just numbers we don't know. In other words, we can put any number we want in here, is C plus B plus A. And likewise, if we have A times B times C, we can say that that's C times B times A. Again, we can put any number that we want in there, and it's going to be the same thing. We're just saying that we can shift the numbers around, and they're going to equal the same thing. That is all commutative property is. Just means that we can move numbers around in addition and in multiplication, and it's not going to change anything. Now, this is not order of operations where we have different, like if we have addition and multiplication, we have to be really careful. But notice that we only have addition, we only have multiplication. in this situation, we can change things around and it doesn't matter. Okay? So now let's talk about associative property. So associative property is like friend groups. So you're associating with someone. So friend groups, grounds groups, associate. So they associate with each other. Friend groups associate with each other. They talk with each other, right? So if we're talking about addition, we're saying that if 1 plus 2 are talking to each other and they leave out 3, it's not a big deal because then 2 plus 3 can get together and they can leave out 1. So this is, if we did order of operations, we would do parentheses first. So 1 plus 2 is 3, and then we would take it out of parentheses, and we would have 3 plus 3, which is 6. If we did it over here, 2 plus 3 is parentheses, which would be 5, and 1 plus 5 is 6. So these equal the same thing. It just means that we can associate with different people, but as long as it's all addition, it doesn't matter where the parentheses are, it's going to equal each other. Same thing with multiplication. If it's all multiplication, it doesn't matter where the parentheses are. So if you have 4 times 6 times, let's see, 6 times 3, that would be the same thing as 4 times 6 times 3. So let's do order of operations. So this would be 4 times, do the parentheses first, would be 18. And parentheses first would be 24 times 3. So let's see if these are the same thing. So 4 times 18 gives us 72. And 24 times 3 also gives us 72. So again, if it's all multiplication, it does not matter where the parentheses are. You don't have to worry about order of operations. You can just multiply straight across. And that's what associative property is. So that's all commutative and associative property. Just learning those two properties together. And that is all for this lesson. If you're having trouble understanding these, come and see me and I'd be more than happy to go over them with you some more and do some practice with you. So until next time, we'll see you later.